David. Hi, everybody. Hi, Folk Alliance. And I think we're over on YouTube as well. Hi, everybody. David, thank you so much for having me be a part of this awesome crew. I've been enjoying the music all night long. So, I thought I'm calling to you. I'm standing right here in my she shed in my backyard in Los Angeles. I'm going to start off a song about values. I came up with this song. I wrote this song a couple years ago after a particularly bad week in California and in the Los Angeles area. We had a mass shooting in a restaurant, country music restaurant in Thousand Oaks, and before the news cycle could fully get through the news of that, pretty much the whole state had erupted in wildfires. That was the year, if you remember, for those of you not from here, you might have heard about the town of Paradise up north that suffered very badly, but the whole state was. And this is a song called What Really Matters. What would you take if your world was on fire? Riding the wind on a tinder of leaves, flames flying in like an enemy fighter, sun rising red. Tell me, what would you grieve when you're burned down to bedrock, when you're scraped down to the coals, when everything you thought you knew is changing, and you feel the devil fighting for your soul? Flask of whiskey, stash of pot, letters from a lover that you should long forgot. When your tidal waves of tears turn to laughter, that's when you know it comes down, 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 down to what really matters. Do 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 what really matters. Do 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 do. Smoke screens and daydreams don't help when you're running. Blooms lift to heaven, the rest of your home falling like snow. You're an angel in ashes, chimneys and tree bones and churchyard stones. It comes down to the bedrock when everything that you've known is shattered glass in the doorways, and you're wrestling with an angel for control. Flask of whiskey, stash of hot letters from a lover that you should long forgot. When your tidal waves of tears turn to laughter, that's when you know it comes down, 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 down to what really matters. Do 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 what really matters. Do 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 do. Long ago, flask of whiskey, stash of hot letters from a lover that you should long forgot. When your tidal waves of tears turn to laughter, that's when you know it comes down, 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 down to what really matters. Do 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 what really matters. Do 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 do.
Woo!
Thank you. Wow, it's so amazing to hear applause. Thank you. That's nice in my ears. Haven't heard that in a while. Thank you. How's the sound out there? Is it okay?
Awesome.
Good. Thank you. So I've been really curious, actually. One of the fun things to do at a music conference is to look at people's shoes, because musicians have the best footwear. And I am kind of wondering how many of us are wearing slippers for this whole conference. Confession, I just kicked mine off. Put on the earrings, the lipstick, and the slippers, you know. So I think the Folk Alliance has been doing a phenomenal job with this conference. I never would have expected that a virtual conference could be this fun, but I have been having a blast, and I have been almost as exhausted as I was last year in New Orleans. The only difference is I get to sleep in my own bed at night. But this song is called The Calling, and it's really about loneliness. I know that when the pandemic first hit, I had one day I found myself out on the front lawn, and I was just crying. I was listening to Paul Simon's song, American Tune, and I called my dad. He lives in Florida, and I was just crying. It was one of those moments when, you know, as a daughter, I just called my dad. You know what I mean? Like when you just want, as a kid, you just want your parent to take care of you. My dad got on the phone. He was like, "Why are you crying?" I was like, "Dad, there's a pandemic." The world feels like it's ending, right? This song, I didn't write this about that moment, but this is kind of about that feeling when you're just like looking up at the sky and you're crying and you're like, can anybody hear me calling? Right? The freight trains in the distance, hear that whistle blow. We'll see it slipping like a serpent. Beneath the sunset glow, and further out clouds are building up a storm. They're throwing bolts of lightning. They say it's gonna pour, and someone's calling someone. I can hear the neighbors ring. One's calling me. I turn up all the lamps, like a lighthouse at the bay. Tip an empty bottle to another lonely day. And off the porch in the clover, beyond the throw of light, fireflies are blinking, the coming of the night, like 1,000 tiny torches on a broken down marquee. No one's calling. Train knows where it's going. If you make it back around, sitting in the porch light on the lonely side of town. Closer now, the clouds. It's really gonna pour, and it's rumbling with thunder, like the coming of the Lord. And someone's calling someone. Can almost hear that choir no one's calling me. And no one's calling me. Thank you. Thank you. Let me just do a little quick check on that tuning. So this next song is, I teach creative writing, and I'm on faculty at this creative writing conference that happens most years when we're not in the middle of a pandemic, the International Women's Writing Guild. They gather every summer, and it's an amazing group of women writers. And I was out there to teach a couple years ago, and I always meet such fabulous people, but that particular summer I ended up meeting this woman a bit older than I am, and over the course of the week we started talking, and on the very last day of the conference we sat down and we had lunch together. And she told me a story about how she, when she was younger, she had had 2 children, and the younger of the 2 children had died in a tragic accident, and he was 11 years old. And her story, although very different from my own personal life experience, hit my heart, and I could just feel losses that I have felt and that I have experienced. And her other child now is grown up and I think has kids of her own, and this woman was telling me that over the years she was surprised to find the ways that intense, immense grief that she thought she would never get over eventually turned into something else, where she became part of a club that she would never have chosen to be a part of, but through that she was able to start contributing to other people's healing who also came after her into that club, and it changed the trajectory of her life. She became a writer in part because of that. And I came home after this conference with her story in my head. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And that day I went to, the day after I got home, I went to a museum here in Los Angeles, the Autry Museum, for those of you who are from this area. And I encountered a beautiful art exhibit, sculpture and painting, Rick Bartow, an American Indian artist. And the name of the exhibit was something like Things I Know But Can't Explain. And it just entwined with this woman's story, and it turned into this song. It's called Only Forever. And I waited for you, and I waited for you a long time. Stood outside the schoolyard, her swings twisting in the wind. And I prayed for you, and I prayed for you a long time, to chase you in the park I try to catch you in a sprint. And things I know but cannot explain. How life is measured by what you lose and what you gain. And how to fight for what you treasure. Let it go when it's time to surrender. And how I love you only forever. You came to me. You grew up tall and gangly. I taught you how to swim. I taught you everything I know. But maybe God was lonely, or fate knew all along I'd protect you with my life. But Lord knows I'm not that strong. And things I know but cannot explain. Life is measured by what you lose and what you gain. And how to fight for what you treasure. Let it go when it's time to surrender. And how I love you only forever. They say wounds yield a purpose, and cracks bring the light. All I know is stone on the earth, angel in the sky. Things I know but cannot explain. How life is measured by what you lose and what you gain. And how to fight for what you treasure. Let it go when it's time to surrender. And how I love you forever.
Beautiful.
The tender song, and you know, the one thing about our lives is that we don't get through it without experiencing loss, right? And it's, you kind of wonder, like, how are you going to get through that time? And this has been a year of immense loss, a lot of loss across a lot of people's lives in a lot of different ways. And, you know, it's hard to know what kind of song to follow a song about that could be. But this is a song called Headlights. It was inspired by the E.L. Doctorow quote that the novelist said that writing a book is like driving home or driving at night in the fog. Something like that. Bastardizing the quote, but something like that. And I was thinking about that quote, and, you know, that's exactly how life is too. Just, you know, we can only see as far as the headlights, but we can make our way through. So this is a time when, this is a song about when times are dark and we just follow the headlights. Drove home past the old town park, 5 miles slow on twisting roads. Every time I hit a bend, it looked like the road would end. I gripped the wheel and I took my time. Felt like the night would last forever. I waited waited 18 years to leave, but now I wish the time would freeze. I thought, I don't know how this growing up goes, but I followed the headlines, followed the headlines, and the dots on the broken line all the way home. Came back with a broken heart. I made it home for the school reunion. I took a smoke in the back lot, thinking of everything I'm not. Blowing smoke rings to the stars. These years, they went so fast now. Wish we could live life in reverse, get a chance to rehearse. But all you know is where you've been, so you follow the headlines, follow the headlines, and the dots on the broken line all the way home. Life's not flat, living doesn't unfold like a roadmap, so you follow the headlights, follow the headlights, and the dots on the broken line all the way home. Follow the headlights, follow the headlights, and the dots on the broken line all the way home. Thank you. Let's see here. I'm gonna play you a new one. I've been playing it this week for my showcases. I think this is gonna be the next song that I record. And this song is about the paths that we have not taken in life. Those other ones that we kind of rubberneck and we're like, oh, I used to want, or when I grew up I thought I was gonna be, or whatever it was. And I got immense pleasure when I learned of the 2 women astronauts who went up to the space station, because I thought, oh, I wanted to be an astronaut, and that just makes me feel so good that someone else took that route literally to the moon and the stars, and I was able to take this one. It kind of took some of the pressure off, I guess. But this song was inspired by that idea and by Cheryl Strayed's essay, Ghost Ships. And that's the name of the song. We talked forever of a blue house in a magazine, the orange flames of maple trees in fall. We'd fix the cellar, piano in the living room, a bookcase and curtains in the hall. I made a scrapbook in my mind of future times. Sailing on ghost ships, out to sea on ghost ships, things we never did. Maybe winter, digging out from snow, the last nor'easter froze us to the core. Or maybe youth, hadn't lived enough to see the way that love can leave you wanting more. By summer we were through, house of blue. Sailing on ghost ships, lives we never lived. Now and then I hear some news of you. Looks like somehow we both made it to the other coast. Do you believe in ghosts? Sailing on ghost ships, out to sea on ghost ships, things we never did. Unlived lives on ghost ships, still afloat on ghost ships, lives we never lived. Do you believe in ghosts? Do you believe in ghosts?
Nice.
I think we're coming up on time, David. Should I play one
No,
more?
one more.
Or-
Definitely
really?
do one more.
Okay, here we go. I got one more for you then. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to sing for you tonight. Just really appreciate all the good music I've been hearing too. This is a good song to end on. It's inspired by the word Namaste. The light in me sees the light in you. Ooh, ooh, stood out in the cold, the end of an old year. A sprinkling of snow, a noisemaker blow. Your face reflected gold and red. You lit your cigarette, and for a second you were light, and I could navigate your sky, steer through 1,000 storied miles, sail through miracles and trials. We never saw spring, you never stopped drinking. I searched in the dark, stayed looking too long. I saw your spark and thought of stars that shine 10 billion years. 'Cause for a second you were light, and I could navigate your sky, steer through 1,000 storied miles, sail through miracles and trials. You were light, all our uncharted waters clear, and all of our faults and fractured nights were beautified. Ooh, ooh, you were light. I saw your spark and thought of stars that shine 10 billion years. 'Cause for a second you were light, and I could navigate your sky, steer through 1,000 storied miles, sail through miracles and trials. You were light, all our uncharted waters clear, and all of our faults and fractured nights were beautified. please stay in touch. I hope that we do. Thank you, David. Thank you, Gypsy Wagon Studios.
Woo-hoo. Great set.